Hello, everybody, and welcome to Haiku Talk. I'm your host, Ben Ga, your friendly neighborhood haiku poet, and today we're going to be taking a look at a piece from the current issue of Seashores from Chris Langer. First line of the poem is Evening Storm. All right, so you know what that means. It's time to sit back, relax, grab yourself a tasty beverage, and let's haiku. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to be with you again here for another episode of Haiku Talk. And this one is a really nice piece. I know I say that every time, and I mean it every time. This one, it's one of these poems that it uses a middle pivot, and it uses like a camera focus of moving within from far away to close up, and it involves a cat. So I'm hooked. Let's get right to the poem. The poem goes like this. Evening storm, the rumble of my cat's purr. Evening storm, the rumble of my cat's purr. Wonderful moment. And I'm a lover of storms and a lover of cats, so, you combine those two together, it's a good day for me. And I do say this uses the middle pivot because I think that the middle line of the rumble speaks both to the evening storm as well as to of my cat's purr. So it pivots back and forth between the two and is the thing that connects the two together. Now, I could see somebody making a case for it's the fragment and the phrase, with the fragment being the first line of evening storm and the phrase being the rumble of my cat's purr. I could see that, but when I'm reading the poem and I go through lines 1 and 2, the rumble to me speaks to the evening storm as much as it does to line 3. With that said, let's go ahead and break this down line by line, see how it works. Okay, that first line, evening storm. Evening storm. All right, well, it definitely engages my senses. I can hear it, I can see it, and I am pretty much put inside for whatever reason. I'm thinking it's an interior space, and I'm listening and watching the rain come through. And it could be because, in my own apartment here, my own loft here, I have a really good view of the city skyline of St. Louis. And so when storms roll through, I can really watch them move in. Usually they come in from the west to the east, and I can see them starting back in that direction and moving all the way across the city, hitting the arch and moving across into Illinois. And I love watching the storms. And so that's where it puts me. Now, where it puts you, that's entirely up to you, and that's what's great about haiku, is that they're meant to engage your individual imaginations, put you in a place of in your own life, and then you fill in the poem with details and things from your own life to make the image complete. And so evening storm, good first line. We round out to line 2, which is the rumble. The rumble. And to me, like what I said, to me is why I find this poem to use a middle pivot, because evening storm and I get to the rumble, they're immediately connected to me. I'm feeling and hearing the rumble of that evening storm. So they're tied together in a way that, unlike a fragment in a phrase would be. And so it just builds off that first line, which is really nice. Because, I live in a big building, and, we've had some storms here recently where the whole place does really rumble and shake on the top floor of the building too, and it just, you feel that whole thing. And you know what it feels like to be in a house or someplace when you get that big crash of thunder, that feeling of everything rumbling is just, it's powerful. It's awesome. And so, yeah, I'm right there. I'm in that evening storm. I'm feeling it, the rumble, the shake, the intensity of the rain. It's really nice. Then you loop down to line 3, and you get the surprise here. Of my cat's purr. Of my cat's purr. And now suddenly, evening storm, the rumble turns into this big storm, a rumbling to this cat that's in your lap. So you're going wide, big, 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 to really small, right in front of you. And my cat's snoozing on the couch right next to me here. But she loves to be in my lap, and there's nothing better to have a cat buried in your lap, purring away as you're petting her. And then, you got a big storm rolling outside. That's just a good moment. It's a good time right there. And just that surprise at the end, because everything's built on the evening storm, the rumble, and then you go to the cat's purr. Like I said, it's wide to narrow, pulling kind of the camera lens from wide inward, or the perspective of big to small. And I really like that. And it gives it a little bit, and it gives it that pop, that kick, that twist at the end, which takes you to some place that wasn't expected. And it makes the poem just an enjoyable read and reread. And it's also really nice because of the way that it's structured, it's really easy to follow what's going on. You don't have to be a very, very advanced writer or reader of haiku to see what's happening in the piece. And that's not to say that the poem is simple or that it's easy, because poems like this are really hard to write and get right. And this is perfectly balanced, perfectly written. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. I mean, come on. And it paints this entire image. It puts you in, you're hearing things, you're feeling things. There's this connection between the reader, or the human in the moment, the nature and outside world, as well as the nature curled up in the lap that's purring. And that's just a very cool thing. And so, yeah, it's a great piece. It's a great piece. One worth reading, rereading, and studying. Like I said, when I first was learning to read and write haiku in a serious way, like the middle pivot is one of those things that jumped out at me as something that I could follow, that I could see was happening. And in this case, you can see how the poem builds, how it moves line by line, and moves through itself to build and set up that moment, set up that third line surprise twist. And so, yeah, it's great. It's great. And that's it for today. It's a nice, short, sweet little episode. Thank you all for tuning in. I do apologize. My light has been flickering on and off, getting brighter and dimmer. I'm not sure why. But that's how things go sometimes. Again, thank you for tuning in. It's always nice to spend some time with you. The YouTube things I want to tell you, please like this if you've liked the episode. Think about subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. And if you've liked and subscribed, think about ringing the bell to get notified when new episodes arrive. Thank you very much, and until next time, peace.